much and welcome. Appreciate you all being here. I know there's so many things that you can be a part of and do with your time. On behalf of Shelley and I'd like to tell you thank you for being here. A couple of thank yous before we get going with the most important part is here from a couple of our players and our coaching staff. First of all, a round of applause for Jack Park. That's incredible the way you do that. I watched him a couple of times do that. I'm trying to figure out how he does that without breathing. He does it the entire way. I watched you really close. You don't breathe when you speak. And by the way, we can't control what's on the outside, but there's a rule in here. You can't say that M word around here. If you do, you have to do 10 push-ups. So the way I count it, Coach Mickey Mirati, our strength coach, you have 260 push-ups before you leave here today. Also, I'd like to thank a person that puts this event together. She starts immediately, so I will hear about this as we walk off the stage today. She's going to start planning for next year, and she's incredible energy for this event and devoted person to this event. Where is Lynn? Close by? Lynn Bruce, please stand up so everybody can acknowledge you. Thanks, Lynn. And the last guy, I know he's been introduced a couple times, but my appreciation and admiration for this guy, I'm going to do it and introduce him one more time. He's all Buckeye. He's the reason, if you watch the way we do things around our program now, it's what I learned back in 1986 when I came first here to work for Coach Bruce. One of the great coaches, not only in Ohio State history, college football history. What Woody Hayes started, Coach Bruce continued. That's doing it the right way, graduating your players, and the true love, genuine love for Ohio State. Hall of Famer, Coach Earl Bruce. Once again, Shelley and Shelley is my best friend. I would like to thank you for being here. She's not here today. She's down with my son. They're on spring break. And Lou Holtz, who was part of the '68 National Championship team as a coach, was here. And he asked me when he was here, he said, by the way, who's your best friend? I said, well, my wife's my best friend. And he said, no, your dog's your best friend. I said, no, my wife is my best friend. He says, here, I'll tell you what, here's what you do. Take your wife and your dog, lock them in a trunk for 2 hours, go open the trunk, see which one's happier to see you. So that's a good point. My dog is my best friend. A couple of comments about our team, and I have a hard time trying to keep pushing forward because there's so many great memories from last year's team. So I've taken a different approach, and that's not just look forward, but learn from the past. And 2012, with all the negativity, really everywhere. You pick up the newspaper, you watch SportsCenter, you watch the nightly news, and if you're a person that really doesn't understand college athletics, you think it's mostly bad. And that's not true. It's mostly good. And this year is as refreshing a year as I've ever been around. And the way I told our coaches and other coaches, it really wasn't a lesson learned, it was a lesson relearned. That we all got into athletics for a bunch of different reasons. I can only speak for my staff and really guys that my circle of people, we got into this game for the true love of our players and the chemistry that the selfless sports such as football must teach you. And that's what the experience this year. A quick recap of what happened. We took over from one of the great coaches in college football history, probably the best decade, one of the best decades ever, and that's Jim Tressel. And a great football coach, a great Buckeye. And we took over a program. It's easy to take over when you're lousy. If you're taking over a program that really is not very good, it's easy. You just say, do this, and the kids listen. However, I knew, I warned our coaching staff, our strength coach, who was my right-hand man, Mickey Mirati. We talked about this, I'd probably say about 30 to 40 hours throughout this off-season, last year's off-season, that realized there is going to be pushback, there is going to be evaluation. Not because of bad people, but because that's what the human element is. If you want to do something one way, maybe a little difficult, more difficult, a little harder, not as comfortable, the typical reaction of an athlete, especially if it's been very good, is why are we doing it this way? And so that's what happened. Once again, nothing disrespectful, never crossed that line. However, I felt it and I saw it. During spring practice, a comment was made, something to the effect of it looked like a clown show out there. I received a lot of heat from that, but if I look back 1 year ago today, it looked like a clown show. And it wasn't because, once again, of bad players. We learned later it was very good players. But what it was is a bunch of people evaluating the way we do things. We went through spring ball. In my mind, I said we were a good 8-4, 9-3 season if we really do well, take care of the ball, and play good defense, because I have a lot of concerns about where we're at with this new scheme on offense and just the way we're trying to do things. In the off season, the summer, same thing. Coach Mick, I'd meet with him weekly. He'd tell me what's going on. Guys were trying, guys were going, but not to the effort that we expected. And training camp started. That's when a lot of feelings get exposed when you're over 100-degree weather. You're going straight practices, two-a-day practices, and a lot of things did surface during training camp. We start the season, if you remember, against Miami, Ohio. I think at the end of the first quarter, we're 7-0 losing, and we're not playing very good. We win the game, we win the next game, and we beat Cal in the third game. What you were looking at is not a very good team. A bunch of very good players, a bunch of very good coaches. However, there was something wrong with the team. And I get really, I get kind of upset sometimes when I watch either analysts or broadcasters or even newspaper reporters or just fans or coaches have comments when you have a bad team. A lot of times, or really most of the time, when you have a bad team, people go right to the players. They say, well, you have bad players, they're not good enough. And for the most part, that's not true. Matter of fact, I'd say all the time that's not true. Every football program in America has very good players. What's the problem? There's a problem within the system. And you can say, well, they have bad coaches. For the most part, every school in the country has very good coaches. They're professionals. They do what they do. However, there's something wrong when you check under the hood. There's something wrong with your team. And there was something very wrong with our team as we started that season. If you're a player, your job is to play. If you're evaluating, you're not playing. It's really that simple. A player has to play. A coach has to coach. Once you get that, usually have a good team if you have good enough players. If the players are evaluating and the coaches are still kind of evaluating, you see what you saw in the first couple games of the season last year, and that's a very poor team that's finding ways, because of very character kids on the team and very good coaches, very good group of assistant coaches found a couple ways to win a game. However, after game 3, I saw what was coming. We're going to play Alabama, Birmingham, then go on the road to Michigan State, and then play Nebraska. 2 top 20 teams back-to-back. If we have college football's momentum, if we play the way we did in those first 3 to 4 games, we got a problem. That's called you're going to lose those 2 games. And you start our career as a coaching staff 0-2 in the Big Ten. Now the evaluation gets to be a real serious evaluation. This luncheon certainly doesn't look like it is today, and you're probably throwing dinner rolls at your head coach as he comes walking up here if we lose those first 2 games. More importantly, recruiting takes a hit. So I start to hit a panic button with my strength coach, Coach Marotti, and we spend an inordinate amount of time trying to figure out how to turn this thing around. With the great work of some coaches on our staff, I saw a transformation from our team. A quick story, you probably heard about this. It's incredible for the good of college football and for me to brag about our seniors in this class. John Simon, after the Cal game, comes walking up to the podium, I'm giving out game balls or rewards, and here's a 6'4", 260-pound, grown-ass man, tough guy, one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. I introduce him, he loses it in front of our team. I mean, when I say lose it, sobbing like a little kid, just crying. And I'm looking at him, I start to get a terrible feeling in my stomach. I go home that night after we say our prayer, we break up, go about our business, and I can't sleep that night. We're undefeated. We just beat a very talented Pac-12 team, yet there's something seriously wrong with our program, and it started with me. I thought to myself, could I have been the kind of man to walk up in front of that team and give that a much emotion? If I would have, it would have been very phony. I didn't have the same commitment to our program that John Simon did. He's 22, I'm 48, I'm a professional at what I do for 26 years, and I was so embarrassed I couldn't do that because I hadn't given enough for this program. And then I went after our coaches Sunday morning, went around the room, and each one of our coaches, I didn't feel anyone on our coaching staff could have given that same emotion that John Simon did. We weren't giving enough. And then we had a team meeting that day as well. And I went and we had a hard discussion where I think I saw a lot of our leaders, a lot of our players on our team started figuring out, quit evaluating and start playing. Start giving the same kind of emotion that John Simon did. I'm going to do this very quickly because I want to have you speak with our coaches or listen to them. Butler Benote, a former Buckeye great, came walking in. We have a little reflection service for our players on Sunday. Whether it's divine intervention or just for the good of our team, it was perfect what this young man, Butler Benote, said. Come walk up to the front of our team. His message was this: if you love something that much, and I mean really love something, not phony, but real love, you want to be, and his message was from the Christian perspective, from a parent, from a father, to being a husband someday, or in this situation, being part of a team. If you really love something that much, there has to be three components involved, or it's fake. And you have to figure out where we're at. I just got done talking to our staff about our team, about how I think we're a fake team. Bunch of good kids, bunch of good players, a very fake. You don't play like we did in those first games unless there's some evaluation and some phoniness going on. And I'm not blaming the players, I'm blaming the coaching staff. And so here's his message, the three components for this. If you love something that much, you no longer make choices. They are called commands. In the Christian church, it's called commandments. And being part of a team, it's being get rid of those choices. You don't make choices, you're part of a team, a real team, it's a command. The second part is sacrifice. In a Christian church, it says God's greatest gift to us, he loved us so much, because he loved us so much, he sacrificed his only son. For us to get where we got to get as a team, you need to sacrifice all the nonsense. All the third uncles telling you how good you are. Why don't you have more catches? Why aren't you starting? You have to sacrifice or kill it, end it. How do you do that? Don't supply any energy. Get all that nonsense out of here. Quit evaluating. Someone saying, well, you guys used to do it this way. We used to get that out of here. Or, let's be honest, be truthful, we're going to be a very bad team here in about 2 weeks with 2 Big Ten losses. And then the third point was, if you truly love something that much, the amount of time you have to spend is beyond comprehension. The NCAA gives college football coaches 20 hours to coach your players. If you spend 20 hours with your players, you have a very bad team. That's not enough time. So we're not going to break rules. What are we going to do? We expect the players to spend time on their own preparing. If you want to, once again, if you want to truly love your team and have a great team, maybe do something like that banner says, go undefeated, you have to spend a lot of time. And I'm not convinced by the way our guys played, we're spending enough time. The final part to the story was a week later, we finally got the evaluation part out of our program on the coaching staff and players. On September 29th at 11:22 in East Lansing, Michigan, we're getting ready to play a ranked, very talented team on the road, and we have performed very well. And between Coach Mick, myself, our coaching staff, and the leaders on our team, we had a very good talk before the game, and the message was this. And this is the coolest and most refreshing thing that really the essence of college football is all about. Enough's enough. I'm going to ask you to stand up of all these great traditions, the Buckeye Leaves, the Gold Pants, the Victory Bell, Buckeye Grove. We're going to start our own tradition here today at our pregame meal. I'm going to ask you to take a glass of championship water, stand up, make a toast. From this point forward, you're going to rip your chest open, give the coach your heart, and let us coach you. Don't evaluate, no comments. You go as hard and do exactly what we ask you to do. And I'm so proud to say that that locker room erupted right before the game, and I saw a team rip their chest open and change. Matter of fact, they became one of the only 6 teams ever in this great university's history to go undefeated because of the leadership that was represented on that team. Now, let's push forward to, thank you. Let's push forward to 2013, high expectations. You come to Ohio, Coach, how you handle high expectations? Well, guess what? You come to Ohio State to have high expectations. There's plenty of I tell our guys this all the time. There's plenty of places to go where don't have those high expectations. If that's an issue, make sure you come see me in that office right there. We can move you on to somewhere else, because that's not new to this year. That's always been here. It's very simple, though. If we take a great player, replace him with a player that's not as good, we won't be as good. I'm not that concerned about that. I think we have very good players. My area of concern is you take a great group of leaders, the best group of leaders maybe I've ever been around in that senior class, you remove that from our program, and you take this other group that's not a good leaders, you're going to lose, or you're going to fail at certain points during the season. So our biggest concern is the leadership of our team. I'm proud to say I see it heading in the right direction. We do have good players. We have our coaching staff remained intact, and I expect us to be a much better fundamental football team than we were in 2012. However, if we can replace that leadership, I expect magical things to happen. I have a saying around here, and a saying I've had for a long time, that if you go out and recruit very well in the Big Ten Conference, you should be able to win 6, 7 games if you have some good players. If you have some discipline in your program, you start pushing the 8, 9, maybe 10 wins. However, the most undervalued and overused word in athletics, especially college football, is leadership. If you don't have leadership, magic can't happen. If for some reason you get a little talent, discipline, and leadership, that's when magical things start happening, like rings, banners, and all the great things that we work so hard to achieve. So that's what I see. That's my take on what we expect out of next year. I'm going to ask our players and coaches to start working their way up, so I don't have to all start working your way up. I'm going to introduce all players and coaches start working your way up here. As they work their way up, I'm going to ask our coach to come up. I'm going to introduce him. I'm going to ask him to say a quick 30-second spot about his position, and then have a little fun with your players. So the first young man I'd like to bring up, a member, he's been a part of 2 undefeated football teams. He was a member of the coaching staff in 2002 on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously he was our defense coordinator this year. Did an excellent job. Our defense started off slow early. By the end of the season, one of the top 10 defenses in college football. I'd like to introduce our defense coordinator, Luke Fickle.
Got the 3 linebackers. Briefly, real quick, just about our defense. I think Coach mentioned, go ahead and have a seat there, Curtis. You do hokey pokey or something. Just go ahead and sit down. No dance moves. I think the big thing, Coach, is that we're trying to develop 2 things. He's already mentioned the one thing, that's leadership. I think with the guys we lost from last year, our big emphasis is, hey, we have to teach some guys how to be leaders. We have to put some guys in the situations where we expect leadership out of them. Obviously, there's some that is naturally born. We think we got to really put those guys in situations to do that. The other thing is mentality for the whole entire defense. I think the mentality of what we've got to do is something, at times has to be able to change. It changes with the mentality of what we have, mentality of what the head coach has. We got to make sure we can get that down to them as well. So each and every year you tweak little things, but those are the 2 things, most importantly from the defense's perspective, leadership and mentality of what we're really trying to develop. We got 3 guys up here today that are a part of the linebacker group. Maybe just ask them a brief question. I'll probably ask Curtis the first one since he's the oldest. Just give us your role as being the leader and promoting leadership.
I guess my role is bringing passion and energy and helping the guys around us, around the defense better.
Good. Pass the mic over there. Josh Perry. What about the development of the young linebackers as you've seen throughout the spring so far? Josh being obviously a second-year guy from Olentangy here, first time really playing much. Played a little bit last year, but is a young guy that we're expecting some things out of.
I think the development is very important. We've had guys who want to go hard, who want to work hard, and so I think this offseason was really important. Curtis was great with it, and Ryan too, getting us together and just trying to show us that we have expectations, and so doing what we need to achieve, working hard. Cam was in there, and we got a few other guys, but I think we're really excited, looking forward to what we have this year.
Josh is one of our high grade point average guys, and I'm trying to figure out here for a second. Are those 2 different colored socks we got on? Is that a fashion statement?
Good luck charm.
Oh, it's a good luck
Can't
charm.
wear same color socks.
Oh, wow. It's that lucky rabbit's foot, Coach. Last one, Cameron Williams. Talk to us a little bit about the youth of some of the guys we got up front.
Up front is a lot different. Getting used to, I'm used to being behind Jonathan Hankins, John Simon, Garrett Goebel, those guys, and just adjusting to just playing differently. Now we have Adolphus Washington and Noah Spence, so they're a lot different and really talented young guys. But I think the leadership was lost, and now there's a lot of high expectations for the young guys. So it's really a fun adjustment. We're just learning and keeping going.
Only 3 guys up front?
There's 4 guys.
I didn't know if you could mention the other ones. Those are only 3 guys?
No, also Nathan Williams.
Nathan Williams graduated.
Well, I'm saying Nathan Williams
okay.
is 4.
His dad was a defensive lineman, so I was hoping that us linebackers understand it. Without a great defensive front, we got no chance behind us. So if we don't know their names, and we can't celebrate them and go thank them for taking on 650 pounds at times, sometimes these guys just think they run and make tackles all the time without somebody doing all the work. But we appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We'll move on, Coach.
All right, here we go. I'd like to call up, you know what 5-hour energy is, right? Was that like $2 in the store? Well, this guy is a living testimony of 5-hour energy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him to come up. You've probably seen it on YouTube, but he's a very good recruiter for us. And I see a lot of people, we're going to wake you up here a little bit and get you going. So I want to ask our corner coach, was a legendary coach down in Cincinnati, Coleraine. He's going to, before he brings his guys up, the one thing about we had to make a hire last February. And I wanted to make sure I hired a guy that not only was a very good football coach, but understood Ohio, wanted to be at Ohio, and provided a lot of energy for our program, not only in recruiting, but just with our staff and our players. So I'm going to ask him what it means to be an Ohio State Buckeye. Turn your chair around. Young lady right here, this one's going to be real. Strap it up. If you got a seatbelt in your chair, put your seatbelt on. Throw your shoulders back. All right, here we go. Kerry Combs.
You don't know how much pressure that is, but I got to tell you something. What an amazing thing it is to be here today. I have to remind myself, I have to pinch myself sometimes. We're sitting in a room today with 6 undefeated teams represented. Nobody else in the country can do that. Nobody else can fill an indoor facility, an auditorium, a door. Nobody can fill a university with the quality of people that we can at The Ohio State University. It's not a good day today. It's not a good day. It's what? Wonderful. No. It's not a good day. It's not a good day. It's a great day. It's a great day to be a Buckeye. It's a great day to be a Buckeye. It's a great day to be affiliated with such wonderful people. Coach Bruce, Coach Meyer, the phenomenal players that have gone here before. I want to make sure that when you walk out of here today, you understand what you've been asked to do. You've been asked to be associated with the greatest football program in the history of college football. You've been asked to participate in a mission today, raising money, $1 million, that's great. I don't know how much more money we got to raise back there to get to $2 million to stop cancer. I believe that the people of Ohio, the great people of the great state of Ohio, can't do anything. That is why our players won this year, because they found, when Coach was talking to you about ripping your heart open and making a difference for your team, that's what they did. That's all of our job. It takes everybody to make that happen. And so I want to just remind all of you that you are here today as part of a very, very special group. You are the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's not a good day, it's a great day. It's a great day to be a Buckeye. Give yourselves a hand. Now, I'm a big fan of alliteration. I always say those kinds of things. Not a good day, it's not a great day. Tuesdays are a very special day. Tyvus, what kind of day is a Tuesday?
Toughness Tuesday.
Say it again, Tyvus.
Toughness Tuesday, Coach.
Okay, there you go. It's a Toughness Tuesday, unless you happen to be a kicker like Drew Basil. If you're a kicker like Basil, do you guys warm up on the field?
No, sir.
Why do you not warm up on the field, Drew?
Coach Nick tells us not to.
Coach Marotti will not allow the kickers and the specialists on the field with the real men. So while Tyvus, you're having, what kind of a Tuesday are you having, Tyvus?
A Toughness Tuesday,
Toughness Tuesday. Our specialists, our kickers, what kind of Tuesday are you having?
Turtleneck Tuesday.
Turtleneck Tuesday. We're over there wearing turtlenecks. That's a little bit of a problem for us. But we're working on it. We're working on toughness. If you want to raise up your right hand a little bit there, Duran, hold that up. It's a Weakness Wednesday. We're wearing Band-Aids to the banquet, so that's a little bit embarrassing for us. We're going to work on that as well. I got 3 great players up here to represent what I get to do every day. I get to coach the corners. The corners room, I got to be honest with you, it's like walking into a nursery room right now. We got a great player, Bradley Roby. He's at class, couldn't be here. We got a veteran, Adam Griffin. Duran's been here for a while, but the rest of the room are freshmen and high school seniors. They should be getting ready to go to the prom. They're out here practicing with the Buckeyes. So, Tyvus, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what it's like to be a freshman at The Ohio State University?
Well, being a freshman here, it's tough because you're going from being like the most valuable player on your high school team to coming here and just being like the average Joe. And then you got like, when you're going through training camp or whatnot, like you're going to face some hard times, and it's up to your brothers, your teammates, and my roommate, which was Christian Bryant. He helped me out throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's just hard. Then you got to manage your time, and with classes, it's real tough. But this university, it's based on mental toughness, and like you just got to mentally get through it, and that's basically what they're trying to find out, if you're mentally tough. So if you can handle it.
Okay, that's long enough, Tyvus. Now, the key thing for a guy like Tyvus is we never yell at him. We always hug him up, pat him on the back, give him milk and cookies, right, Tyvus?
No, sir.
No, sir. Pretty sure that Tyvus got convinced that over time his first name was Damn It. Damn it, Tyvus. Not how we do our business here. Drew Basil, we're asking an awful lot out of Drew Basil this spring and going into this fall. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about how your role has changed on our team, Drew?
Well, I found out the day after signing day that I was going to be the punter this year. So instead of just practicing and focusing on kicking, I also have to focus on punting now too.
And it's not too tough. Yesterday at the end of practice, very competitive situation, winner-loser day. You know, the winners are getting Gatorade, the losers are getting the water out of a hose. Drew hit a 50-yard field goal as time expired to help, unfortunately, the other side of the ball win the day yesterday. Drew Basil, everybody. Last man up is another one. These are all Ohio products. Another one of our Ohio products. Some of the things that Duran is very quiet, very shy in my meeting room. I find out he goes into the locker room and he's all full of energy. He's all full of life, doing all kinds of things I've never seen. One of his great things is impersonations. So I've asked Duran to do one of his impersonations for all of you guys here today.
I'm gonna do an impersonation of Coach Withers. There you go. Usually when he gets, really hyped, it gets me going for the day and have a good day, so I'm gonna do one of my favorite ones.
Woo! Let's get it going up in here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it going up in here. Now remember now, the ball is this. Get to the ball, and everything's gonna be okay. Get to the ball now, it's gonna be good now.
Coach Withers. But Duran is also a quality player. Lining up as the #1 corner this spring. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what it feels like to be a starter at Ohio State?
It feels pretty good. I've just been working hard and, talking to Bradley and Coach Combs and just watching a lot of film in the offseason, just preparing for the role. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job so far. I just want to keep going and take bigger strides as we head towards the season.
Thank you. I just want to close with this. What an honor and a privilege for a kid who grew up in Ohio, who's 51 years old, to be able to spend his days, his time with people like you in a place like this, with kids like that, having the opportunity to go compete for this right here. You guys know what this is, right? Somebody holding up that crystal ball. We have the opportunity to do that here because of you, because of our head coach, because of those kids. And for me, a kid from Ohio, it doesn't get any better than that. Thank you very much.
So we learned something today. Kerry Combs is 51 years old. All right, next I'd like to have our co-D coordinator, safeties coach, a very important hire we made a year ago. We have some experience. We expect some leadership out of the back end. When I hired up coaching staff, it was very important for me to hire people that understood Ohio, understood the rivalry, and it's not by accident. 8 of our 9 are from the state of Ohio, and the one guy that's not wishes he was from Ohio. And that one guy that wishes he was is our co-D coordinator, Everett Withers.
Standing here at Christian Bryant's up here from Cleveland, Ohio. Quick story about Christian. Christian, we've known each other probably about, 4 or 5 years now? I was at another place before I came here. Had a chance to come to Glenville and meet Christian Bryant. Thought he was a heck of a football player. Went back, actually got him on a recruiting visit at this other place, and came down with his mom. We had a heck of a time. I mean, rolled out the red carpet. And I remember thinking we got him. I mean, he's coming to this other place. So I bring the head coach to Cleveland, Ohio. Private plane. I mean, I'm talking about first class. Flying on a private plane, pick up a rental car, go to Christian's house. Christian's mom's in the kitchen. Dad's sitting at the table. Christian's mom won't come into the kitchen at the table where we're talking, and Dad's running the conversation. And I remember leaving that house and thinking, as soon as we walk out the door, that boy's going to Ohio State. And I can see why he chose Ohio State. At this point in time, being here, going into my second year, with that room that we have filled with Ohio kids, and kids that love this state, love this football program, I can see it. We've got basically 4 seniors in that room. And in that room, I think, like Coach said, there's a lot of experience. We've added some of those guys, some new guys in recruiting. We hope that blend works well for us, and I think it will. I really lean on our senior leadership in there with Christian and C.J. Barnett and Corey Pitt-Brown. 3 guys that have played a lot of snaps here. We hope they will give us an opportunity to have some success and play even better in the back end. I think Coach Combs didn't mention we had 14 interceptions last year. We dropped 28, I believe. Okay, so we got some work to do back there to make plays on the ball. I'm going to ask Christian a couple questions since we got him here, and I know the comedians that just left the stage. We're going to talk about some real stuff here. You know, we talk about power to unit in our room. Our room isn't all about football, okay? It isn't all about football because I'm a big believer in life after football and what we do to help these young men after football. So I'm going to ask Christian a couple questions. Christian, when we leave sometimes the team meetings and we go in our room, what are some of the things that we talk about besides football?
Coach Withers, he does a great job with us as far as real life goes. He's one of those guys who just talks to us about the real life and life after football, how important getting your degree is from the Ohio State University. I don't really think he wants to see any of us fail in life, so that's really majority of the time what he talks about.
Thank you, Christian. Second question. Your role on this football team obviously is to be a good football player on the field. But what do you feel like your role is off the football field for some of our young guys?
Well, one of my roles is just to lead the young guys as far as showing them the way as an Ohio State football player is supposed to walk on campus, attend class, anything as far as off the field goes. Just trying to show them the way, just like some older guys showed me when I was a freshman around here. Some guys like Jamel Hines, Cameron from Georgia, just Brian Rose, some of those older guys who just showed me the way as I was a young guy. And that's the type of things I'm trying to do for the young guys this year.
I hope you guys are really excited about the 2013 season. I hope our safety position will play an even more important role, and hopefully with guys like Christian, CJ, and Pitt Brown, we will. Thanks.
Next, I'd like to introduce a Buckeye great, a man with 3 Super Bowl rings, came back to his alma mater, doing a wonderful job with our defensive line. He's all Buckeye, Mike Grable.
I want to introduce Noah Spence, a freshman from Harrisburg, and junior Michael Bennett from Centerville. I think you guys all see why we call Coach Combs the Silver Fox. Okay, there's a little bit of energy there, there's a little bit of juice there. He's got a beautiful wife, Holly. Okay, when Holly and Carrie wake up in the morning, they don't say good morning, they obviously say great morning, Carrie. Great morning, Holly. That's how much juice they got in their house. But we understand what the expectations are here at Ohio State. My dad came down to spring practice yesterday. 62 years old, he's still a high school principal, and he comes down, he watched practice, and we go to dinner. And we sit down, and it's a late dinner, and the waitress comes, and she's about 23 years old, and she leaves. She says, "Are you the coach for the Buckeyes?" "Yeah, I coach D-line." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Ohio State hasn't had to replace 4 starters in 25 years. So a 23-year-old college waitress knows that Ohio State hasn't had to replace the 4 defensive linemen in 25 years. So we understand the expectations and the challenges that are in front of us. But we recruit great players. We recruit excellent players, excellent students. We're excited that we get to come here to work every day. We understand that John Simon's not going to come out here and be at spring ball. John Hankins isn't going to come out here and be at spring ball. Nathan Williams. So it's my job and it's our players' job to bring that energy, try to provide that leadership, and we can't talk about leadership. Michael Bennett knows that it doesn't do him no good to walk out there and say, let's go, let's go, let's go. Because Michael Bennett hasn't done enough for our football team to do that. What Michael Bennett has to do is buckle his chin strap, tighten his cleats, and go out and continue to work every single day. And by doing that, you will become a what, Michael? Use the microphone.
Great player.
No, you become a leader. Okay, by being consistent. I don't know how good you'll be, but you're going to need to lead by being consistent. Okay, so no, we have a lot of great traditions here, right? What are some traditions at Ohio State? I'll help you out. Okay, we've got the Buckeye Walk. Okay, we go through the skull session. We take the Buckeye Walk. Okay, we've got the Victory Bell, Carmen, Ohio, where we sing the fight song. Okay, there's a lot of great traditions. Another great tradition is we win all our football games, right? Since you've been here, that's a tradition. Okay, what's your favorite tradition and why?
Well, you just said it. I think winning all the games, I don't want to lose them games, so that's probably the best tradition.
What do you like the skull session? How do you like the Buckeye walk? What are your thoughts as you enter that stadium and you come down that ramp?
I just think about all the great players before me, and I think about how it's hard to like replace them and stuff like that, but we try every day to like get better and maybe be like them one day.
Tell the crowd what Coach Holtz said to us about tradition. Remember?
Yeah, tradition is always under construction, which means that like people before you, like their tradition was made when they left, and we just here trying to make our mark, and for the people that's about to come after us. So tradition is always under construction.
Michael, who is your favorite offensive coach and why?
I don't know, I don't really pay attention to the offensive coaches. I just started learning their names. Maybe
help me out.
Maybe
Help me out because I don't know their names either.
I'm just going to go with Coach Warner because we see him all the time, and it's always fun if we beat an offensive lineman. Just
when we beat him, not if.
It's always fun when we beat an offensive lineman to hear Coach Warner freaking out and looking like he's about to just pass out if we're yelling at him. So that's always fun.
Good. And obviously not up here with these guys. We're counting on Adolphus Washington. We're counting on Joe Hale for some leadership. We're counting on Tommy Shutt, Rashad Frazier, JT Moore. So we've got a bunch of guys that we're working in there. We're repping. We've got 2 young kids, like Kerry said, that should be high school seniors going to prom and running around in the spring, but they're here working. We've got 4 great young kids coming in next year's recruiting class. So we are excited. Thank you for your cause. Obviously, it's always great to see Coach Bruce around running the hallways. And want to thank you for having us.
Next, I'd like to call up, there's a saying that if you spend enough time with each other, you start to look like each other. And our quarterback coach and Braxton spent a lot of time together, and I noticed the other day they are starting to look a little bit like each other. So I'd like to introduce our offense coordinator and quarterback coach, Tom Herman.
Thank you. With me today, I have Braxton Miller from Springfield, Ohio, Kenny Guyton from Houston, Texas, and Braxton, I would hope that your head coach saying that you take that as the extreme compliment that it is, that you're starting to look like me, because I don't think a man can be paid a bigger compliment than that. But anyways, I want to cut to the chase. I know we're running short on time here, so just a quick let you know what we're planning on doing offensively is be the best fundamental offensive unit in the country. We felt like last year we were just trying to get lined up. We were just trying to understand the schemes and what to do. And now really comes the fun part of our jobs as offensive coaches, which is let's start teaching the players why. Why do they do this? Why do they do that? So we're going from maybe a kindergarten or first grade level, if you will, to next level, to high school level, and hopefully, in the fall we're getting into college level and on into graduate level of this offense and how we do things and why we do them. And it's very refreshing this spring to go through that. And to say that there's never a dull moment in my room, in our room as quarterbacks, is certainly an understatement. Because I showed up today and had me some nice ribs and a roll and salad. And Kenny Guyton shows up early, as he normally does, being the best backup quarterback in college football. Shows up early, and he looks at me, and he just starts laughing, and he says, "Coach, wait till you see B, man. Wait till you see B." So without further ado, I guess my first question is going to be for Braxton Miller. Braxton, can you take your hat off, please, and please tell the crowd in just one simple question: why? Why?
The reason why was, I think you said a couple of days ago, you said, "Man, I like your haircut." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. What you gonna do with it?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it like this." He's like, back in the day when I had hair, I always wanted to dye my hair, so I got it done like that.
The ultimate finger pointer. All right. So it's my fault that your hair is blonde today. I got it. But no, real quickly, in all seriousness, Braxton, what is different this year, this season, this spring, this offseason compared to this time last year? You're a junior, you're going into your junior year, you're no longer the young, true sophomore guy just kind of feeling his way around. What's different in your words this spring?
First off, this is a privilege and an honor just to play at Ohio State and get an honor of playing in the indoor at Woody Hayes. And the difference from last year is just amazing me, like how the guys that I came in with freshman year, they're growing up so fast, and it just amazes me how much they learned since we've been here. And it's just like last year, new playbook and everything since freshman year, then you came in, y'all guys came in. It's just crazy how everybody's just growing fast and they just flying around. Since last year it was all slow motion, and I was just flying around.
Good. Kenny, a lot has been said about you, and I like to pump your tires a little bit because I think you've earned it as a leader of this group. Maybe a lot of the leadership that you provide is behind the scenes, but what's it like going into your fifth year now, a fifth-year senior at The Ohio State University, and what is your role as a leader on the team?
Oh man, I've been here a while, so it's great to be going into a senior year, looking forward to some big things, and we just had a great group of leaders leave, so it's I'm just trying to step up and be another leader on the field for the offense and for the whole team. Just be someone that the young guys can look up to and see how to do things.
All right, thanks. Go Bucks.
We got 4 left. I'd like to keep it close to a minute each if we could to let everybody move about their business today. The next guy is assistant offensive coordinator. Was a very important hire for myself. We had the charge of taking an offensive line that was very underachieving and made them, in my opinion, not my opinion, but a lot of people's opinion, the best offensive line in the Big Ten, one of the best in the country. So I'd like to introduce assistant offensive coordinator and offensive line coach Ed Warner.
Thank you. Yeah, last year at this time, we were very concerned as a coaching staff about where we were at with the offensive line, and we thought if that area doesn't come along, we were going to be in big trouble. Thank goodness these guys are great guys to coach. They bought in, they gave us their heart and soul, they worked hard. I've got a couple of those 4 senior returners coming back here. They're up here at the stage, and I just want to make a couple comments about them. Let's start off with Andrew Norwell. He's our starting left guard. He's from Cincinnati Anderson. Stand up, Andrew. Here, turn around. Big guy, 6'6", 320. You guys probably don't know this. I opened a Twitter account this week, so my followers are just exploding. And there's one question they all want to know. They all want to know, where does Andrew get his hair done, and is he going to get his hairstyle changed in the off-season here? Because you notice it's like hanging out the back of his helmet. And that's something I always ask him. I don't have to play you because you won't cut your hair, but I just have decided that since he's playing so well, we'll let the hair go. All right? But I'm going to ask Andrew a question here. Why do you like playing Ohio State football? What is it that excites you about being a Buckeye?
What excites me about being a Buckeye is that I'm from Ohio, and it's a tremendous honor playing for Ohio State, and just to put on the scarlet and gray and play in front of 107,000 fans it's unthinkable. It's a great honor, and I'm proud to be a Buckeye.
And I think from my standpoint, watching him play, he goes to a different level when he walks in the horseshoe. I didn't realize it until last spring game, and when he walked in the horseshoe for the spring game, that was a totally different guy that I had seen in the spring. When he walks in there for game day, he is a crazy man that plays his heart and soul out for our fan base and our alumni. The other player I have up here is a senior, Jack Newhort, left tackle for us. I forgot to mention Andrew was first-team all-conference. Jack was a second-team all-conference player. He's from Toledo St. John. Again, another big guy, 6'6", 310. Jack's done everything we want off the field this year. He's worked hard. He's a leader. He does everything you want in the weight room. He trains hard. We've, asked Jack to give more, to be a leader. And Jack's done everything we've asked. There's only a couple things left that we're really asking Jack to do. And number one, and this is for your benefit and my benefit, we're asking Jack to stay away from the Memorial Golf Tournament this year. All right, in all seriousness, Jack is a hell of a guy. He's going to be successful in whatever he chooses to do. And I want him to tell you what he's majoring in and what his goals are when his football career ends.
I'm studying financial planning with a business minor, and when I'm done playing, I want to, enter the financial planning world and catch on with a firm and start a family and just be successful in real life.
All right, thanks. That's all I had. But these guys have improved a lot. When you have seniors that are all conference that have improved, and you can see it every day in practice, that's a great tribute to them. Everybody have a great day.
Next, I'd like to bring up our tight end coach and fullback coach, and one of the most improved, if not most improved, positions on our team since the middle of last year to now. Tight end coach, fullback coach, Tim Hinton.
Like all of us, it's certainly an honor to be here today. I'm very, very excited to be representing Ohio State and obviously the great group of young men I get to coach every day. Also, I want to say a little bit of thank you to Coach Bruce. In 1985, 86, and the spring of 1987, I was fortunate enough to be a graduate assistant under him, had a great opportunity to learn. And every day, he probably doesn't remember this, but every day during the season, he would come in earlier than the other coaches, sit in the staff room and watch video. And I would come in with him because I knew he was there. And most times, it was he and I in that staff room. I don't know if you remember that, Coach Bruce, or not. And I'll never forget this. We're watching Nebraska, who at that time with Tom Osborne coach, and he sees something on that video. He says, wow, that's really good. And he looked at me and goes, I've been coaching 34 years, and I just learned something today. That's why you keep working. Obviously, that's rubbed up on Coach Meyer, and it's one of the great things I remember from Coach Bruce. And obviously, it's an honor anytime I get a chance to be associated with those two. I have a great group of young men with me today. I'm going to start off first from Cleveland, Ohio, number 89, Blake Thomas. Blake, Coach Meyer has a tradition. Right, spring game last year, we circle up the team, get them about 2 yards apart, and two guys go head-to-head. When it's circle drill time, and Coach Meyer says, Blake Thomas, you're up. What goes through your mind?
I'd probably say you got to look intimidating. You got to look tough for the other guy going against you. I mean, also, losing is not an option, but probably the first thing is just look tough, maybe growl a little bit, start nodding your head.
Yeah. And then once Coach goes straight and says, hit, now what?
Just fast.
Fast, everything
Get off
goes.
the ball fast, yeah.
Nick Manette, obviously you've had a great opportunity to be here for a couple years, really growing in. And one of the things about my position, we're working very hard becoming complete tight ends, which means we never have to come off the field in goal line, pass situations, third down, 2 minute, all those things. And obviously we're great run blockers. What has your Ohio State experience been like?
I mean, words really can't explain what my experience here has been like. Growing right up the street in Westerville, I've grew around this all my life, and this is all I really known growing up. And I can honestly say it's been a dream come true to play here, put on the scarlet and gray jersey, play in front of 110,000 fans, and it's just, like I said, words can't explain my experience here.
The last guy I introduced from Naples, Florida, is a guy who's a little bit of a jokester. I got to be honest with you, you all know what Monday was. It was April Fool's joke, and I was the blunt. And coach, you may or may not know it, but our strength coach, our player personnel director, were all involved in an April Fool's joke. And right now, I got to tell you something. He almost died on Monday. Coach Meyer almost had to kick him off the team because I was ready to kill him. Just so you know, Jeff Hireman, explain the experience real quickly.
All right, so Monday was obviously April Fool's, and my brother plays at Notre Dame, and so they had Monday and Friday off because of Easter. So he came and spent the weekend down here with me. And so Monday when I came to the facility, I got Coach Mick and Ryan Stamper, who deals with all our kind of relations and stuff. And I said, let's get Coach Hinton. And so we came up with a story. And so Coach Stamper went to Coach Hinton and said, come here, I'm going to talk to you. And he was like, Jeff and his brother this weekend are leaving High Street like 2 a.m. and their car was parked and some kids were robbing their car. And, just the way we're trained, if someone's robbing your car, bad day for them. And so, long story short, he was like, yeah, the last thing that happened is the kids were both laying on the sidewalk, and one of them was in the hospital with a fractured face, and they found out who it was, and the cops are coming to arrest Jeff at the Woody this afternoon during meetings. And So, you know, Coach Hinton, I'm obviously not here yet, or I was pretending I wasn't here, so Coach Hinton starts blowing up my phone, calling me, texting me. And so finally I come in and see him, and he's like, what happened? And I just kind of made up a whole story about, you know, the kids and everything. And then, you know, he's freaking out. I thought he was about to have a heart attack. And I was like, you know, it gets worse. And he's like, you gotta be kidding me. And I said, it's April 1st, April Fool's Day.
So needless to say, he didn't play at all yesterday in the scrimmage, just so you know. Well, my group of tight ends, what a great group of young men, and something they're looking forward to getting out and having a great spring game and a great fall next year. Thanks, man.
I'd like to introduce our wide receiver coach. He played for me at Bowling Green, coached for me at Florida. Our receivers are much improved, so I'd like to introduce our wide receiver coach, Zach Smith.
All right, I'll make my portion quick so we can ask some questions and hear from the people that we want to hear from. The wide receiver group is improving every day, and right now we got 6 practices left, and we have to go 6 for 6 to finish the spring out the way we need to finish it. To be what we want to be in the fall, we have to be 100% on the last 6 practices. So that's where we're at. That's our mentality. That's what we're going to do. Up here with me, I have 3 of my elder wideouts. Corey Philly Brown from Philadelphia, Evan Spencer from Chicago, and Devin Smith from the Massillon, Ohio. Real quick, Devin, we'll go ahead and start with you. There's been some talk, and I've heard some chatter in the meeting room that there's a certain wide receiver Hall of Fame Buckeye great that some say you look similar to. Who might that be? You see it? The resemblance? No. All right, Devin, we'll continue with you. The second question I have for you. Every day we do a drill called one-on-ones. It's just the wide receiver against a defensive back, and you try to get open and catch the ball, and the DB tries to cover you. So, Devin, when you go out to one-on-ones, what is your goal every time you line up against, let's say, Bradley Roby?
To get Coach Combs crazy, to get him hot and jumping and getting crazy. Why did you do that? Why did you intercept the ball, Bradley?
Real quick, Devin, we'll finish off with you. After you're done playing a game, whatever that may be, what do you want to do as a career?
I want to be a commentator.
Commentator. Do you have a guy you look up to, a favorite commentator?
Brent Musburger.
Brent Musburger. Can you give us an impersonation?
I gave you when we were at the Rose Bowl. Now, the Ohio State University have won the Rose Bowl, my friend.
As you can see, my meeting room is, there's never a dull moment. There's always some light attitude or lightness brought to a serious meeting room. Let's move on to Philly. Philly, just run me through, you're our punt returner also, run me through what goes through your mind when that ball is in the air for those 4.5 seconds.
Lord, please don't let me drop this ball in front of all these people.
All right, and then Philly is probably of the group the one that has the least lack of confidence. He's a very confident guy. Philly, you often refer to 2 other positions that you could play, speaking that wide receiver probably is your 3rd best position. Why don't you just tell everyone what you think you could be?
I could be an All-American running back and All-American corner in the boundary, which means the man-to-man best corner in the country. That could be me.
Just trying to give you a sense of what I deal with every day as far as personalities and egos. So that's Corey Philly Brown. Evan, we'll continue with you and finish up with you. Just 2 questions. First of all, I know you and Braxton are good friends. Maybe give everybody one thing about Braxton Miller that nobody knows.
Well, when Coach Smith first told me this, I was going to say that he was a character, but obviously with his hair, you guys can tell that now. But one thing maybe that nobody knows is he thinks he's the world's greatest comedian and wants to crack jokes on everybody all the time. But I don't know, that's probably about it.
Okay, and then finish it off, Evan. Just run everybody through your pregame routine. What do you do? What's a ritual you have before the game?
Well, I'm extremely superstitious, so I always do the same things. And before the games, I always try to clear my head, make sure that there's nothing else that I'm thinking about. And usually I always put my left sock on first, then my right, and I got to take my own risks and a whole bunch of stuff. But basically, it's just to clear my mind and make sure the only thing I'm thinking about is how to win the game.
Perfect. Well, we look forward as a unit and a group to going out and being a strength of this football team and helping our team win and really being a reason and a positive influence on our success on Saturday. That's what we're looking forward to. That's what we're working towards, and we are excited.